We're here in the salmon capital of Canada, Campbell River, British Columbia. We're back for our 7th time filming a logger sports competition here at the Salmon Fest. What keeps bringing us back? The non-stop action and the gorgeous scenery. Sit back and relax. We're about to bring you the best that the West has to offer.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
Welcome everyone to Campbell River, British Columbia, here on Vancouver Island for the 52nd Salmon Fest here in our lumberjack competition. You can see the pink salmon, the king salmon, the silver salmon. There's 5 some odd species running the river right now as we get set and ready for this weekend's lumberjack contest. This week, we've got the open tree climbing contest where we've got our athletes climbing 80 feet up on these tall timbers. Now that 80-foot climb is then eclipsed only by coming back down the pole in this event, which gets really exciting because all of our athletes have then got to gaff in twice to make it a clean run. Now let's send it down to the field for expert analysis from Rod Cumberland here in our first event of the pole climbing.
And they're off. Dave McLeod to your right. Nick Hall, though, who's been training a lot for this, going up like a scared cat. Dave McLeod has a big slip, so it's taking him a little bit longer. Oh, and a slip by Nick Hall. But Nick is off like a shot. He's almost to the bell now, 10 feet to go. Dave McLeod slowing down now, his age starting to show, but here comes Nick Hall trying to get in the groove to get down as fast as he can. And there it is, Nick Hall, first one on the ground as Dave McLeod touches the bell, and his down is pretty smooth. Nice and slick as Dave McLeod makes it to the ground, and that's it for the first heat of speed climb. Okay, so Nick, I see a little bit beat up there. Tell me about the pole climb, how it went.
Yeah, a little bit rougher than I would have liked, but still I can't complain too bad. It was not a bad time. But yeah, a slip or two on the way up. Poles are really hard, so one of my spurs wasn't sticking. And then a little bit rough on the way down. Usually I like to slide a little smoother than that, and the rope got caught, and my hand slid back, and you lose a bit of control. And then I caught again and smacked my face pretty hard. And by then I was like, I just want to be over. But yeah, we got through it, and it was a pretty quick time, I think, so it was all right.
Yeah, Nick did a bit of a facial on his way back down the pole, but it was still good enough for first place here in the men's open tree climbing. Campbell River Logger Sports Competition has a plethora of events for all of our athletes, including the Burling event and our next event, which we have the 2-man relay, cutting a 14-inch standing block and 14-inch underhand block in tandem with a partner. In this event, you've got to be able to keep the pace and keep the axe moving to put down a successful cut in a fast enough time to take home this World Championship.
Canadian Championship butcher block, and we have Dave McLeod and Nick Russell taking on Derek Pouchnick and Carson Bischoff, and they are into these huge 14-inch round pine blocks. As Derek Pouchnick keeps a good pace, Dave McLeod is doing the same thing. Looks like Derek's got a little bit nicer block as he gets in close to putting his drivers in here now. Once they get halfway through this block, they're off, and their partner is in and taking over. So they need to make sure they put the good drivers in. And look at that, Carson Bischoff, first one up on the team relay here. Dave McLeod not far behind him, and now they've given over to Carson Bischoff, who's just got a massive pace here, taking on Nick Russell. Nick from Port McNeil doing a good job here in this 14 inches of round pine, but Carson Bischoff getting into the small wood already. He's going to be driving here momentarily. But look at that, come from behind Nick Russell. He pulls them ahead. Now Dave McLeod is into the standing block. He's got 2 swings in ahead of Derek Pouchnick. So this is going to be a great race here in the Canadian Championship butcher block race at Campbell River. Dave McLeod has a little bit of a glance there on his first side. He's back into swinging. Again, this guy, the Energizer Bunny, done a lot of events here at the Campbell River Lumberjack Show. And he's getting into the smaller wood now. He's got to clean that out, leave some good drivers for his partner, Nick Russell, who really brought the coals in that underhand chop. Derek Pouchnick getting into the small wood as well. Looks like Dave McLeod has him well in hand right now as he gets ready to put his drivers in. And Dave is out of there. Derek Pouchnick also out of there. We've got a great race here. Carson Bischoff, not one of his more signature events. Nick Russell, he loves a standing block chop, and looks like he's getting serious right now, getting into it. So this is going to be a great race. Both guys getting into the middle sides of the wood. Again, 14 inches takes a lot of swings. Usually 3 axe swings to get across, but look at that. Nick Russell, man, made his Wheaties this morning as he takes things down here in the standing block chop of the 2-man relay. Okay, Canadian Championship, that was not a bad time, guys. Tell us about it. World Championship. I stand corrected. Good job, good job. Tell us about how it went.
It was all Nick.
Okay, so let's let Nick tell us about it.
It was good. The blocks were good. I had a good underhand. Dave put a good front in, and it came off clean, so that was good. And then we got into the standing, and Dave put a front in, and I had lots of near wood on my side, but he told me to drive, so I trusted what he was saying, and away we went.
Excellent communication there by Dave. It did look like he didn't have much wood to finish there. Clean drive straight across in that event. But now we're heading over into our next event with some powerful teams here. Of course, we have Sterling Hart taking on Mitch Hewitt. Usually on the same team, going to be a little bit different in this one.
2-man butcher block at Campbell River Logger Sports Days. And look at this, we have Mitch Hewitt taking on Nick Hall in this first heat, first half of the 14-inch underhand chops. And they're doing a great job here. Mitch pulling away right now from Nick Hall. Of course, he's a great chopper from down under, of course, transplanted to Scotch Creek, British Columbia. But oh, Nick cuts it short, jumps out. I'm not sure if he's got enough work done in the front. He's leaving it all to Sterling Hart, as Leo Kudrow, who typically are partners, Leo and Sterling, find themselves on opposite sides of the block here in the underhand. And look at that, Sterling Hart is on fire here right now in the underhand. He took that off really quickly. Leo Kudrow getting the work done. Mitch Hewitt has a little bit of catching up to do now as he gets into the front side of the standing block chop. Nick Hall had a wicked glance, kept a hold of that axe, which was great, as he's standing only about 3 or 4 feet from the crowd. Mitch Hewitt doing a good job. He's putting some drivers in. He's back around for another round as Nick Hall gets thinking about putting some drivers in. And his first side of the standing block, he's got a drive and he's out of there. Now we have Sterling Hart taking on Leo Kudrow. Who's going to be doing the work? Who's it going to be here? This is a great race here, but Sterling Hart, look at the power he's swinging in this standing block as he gets ready to drive things off. And it's going to be Sterling Hart. Look at that, driving things off here in the World Championship butcher block, and Leo not far behind. What a great race. So lots of mix and matching here in the 2-man this year, but picked a good partner here. Tell me how that went.
It went about as well as it could. Yeah, it's not normally the guy I cut the butcher block with, but I was lucky to this year get to cut it with Sterling, and yeah, we had a good one, I think.
Yeah, Sterling, how'd that go?
About as good as, we definitely cut to our potential. The butcher block I always find is a little bit like a double buck partner in the sawing as well. You just seem to have chemistry with some people. We chopped really well, and yeah, we came out with another world championship. We're pretty happy.
Congratulations, guys. Good job.
Thanks, Rod.
Thanks.
Yeah, huge congratulations to Sterling Hart and Nick Hall taking the 2-man relay world championship in a time of 1 minute and 22 seconds. Huge shout out to all of our sponsors for putting us up here in Campbell River. Absolutely breathtaking area. Let's take it down to Rod to learn a little bit more.
Charlie, tell me where we're at and what's going on here.
You're in beautiful Campbell River on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. So it's the 3rd largest city on the island, and we're a forest-dependent community. We were the birthplace of reforestation in the province. Not only did we plant the first tree, we planted the 4 billionth tree here as well, which is up in our museum. This is part of our culture. It always has been. It's been here for a long, long time. And 2018, we expanded it to include Highland Gathering and Highland Games too. So it brings all parts of our culture together.
Yeah, the Highland Games and logger sports are like spaghetti and meatballs to any festival, and we're glad to have them here together at Salmon Fest. Up now, we got our Jacks and Jills engaged in a 2 out of 3 battle in the open burling. Here's Brenda Pouchnick taking on Kenji Boyko.
The log's going fast. We've got the experience against the youth here. Brenda is the aunt to Kenji and doing a great job here, keeping the log afloat and going as fast as they can. They watch the other person's feet to see what they're doing and when they're going to kick, see if they're going to change direction. So you can see them each very intently staring at the other people's feet, seeing what they're doing. Kenji's a quick burler. He likes a log going fast, and Brenda, of course, likes to control it, and he's got her. This is for 3rd and 4th place overall, the Campbell River Logger Sports Festival. And Brenda and Kenji going at it here on this 15-inch log, and looks like Kenji takes her down. So he gets the best 2 of 3 falls. So we have 2 heats of log burling here trying to determine who moves on to the finals. Kenji Boyko won the first heat, and now we're on to Nick Hall and Scott Thompson. These guys actually perform together all the time on Grouse Mountain, so they do this log burling every day. And here they are taking each other on at Campbell River, and looks like Nick Hall, last guy in the water, so that means he's #1 right now. It's the best of 3 falls. So he's sitting in the driver's seat at present, but Scott, young man, quick on his feet. Nick Hall knows that this is another key event for his quest to get the 1st place overall at the Campbell River Logger Sports. The 2nd heat ready to go. Scott and Nick both on and ready to go. And the log is moving fast when they move it. Here it is, lots of white water. Nick controlling it, stops it again. A little bit of splash. Oh, and that's almost too close to call. We'll see what the judges say. Looked like Nick was maybe the last one in. Nope, they call it a draw. Bad looking sign here with Nick Hall. Might have hit his knee either on the log going in. He's right back out again though. We'll see how this affects him, whether it actually slows him down or not in the log burl. Scott likely has seen that he has a little bit of problem. And he tries to take him down, but look at that. Nick does it. He's moving on. We're ready for round number 2 in the consolation final. Brenda Pouchnick taking on Scott Thompson. And Scott's going to quickly try to get her on her back. Backpedaling as quick as he can, which he does again, because he knows she's not quick there. But Brenda's showing she still has some speed in those feet. Doing a great job here, Brenda Pouchnick. And she tries to run Scott. She tries again, but loses her balance. And she's in, so Scott Thompson is going to be 3rd place. We have Kenji Boyko, grandson of the great Al Boyko, log burler from Port Alberni, BC, and he's got his hands full with Nick Hall, originally from Ontario, now competes at Grouse Mountain on a regular basis. Nick's doing great here, trying to keep pace with him. Benji sees he did a misstep, and Kenji keeps a log burling quick as he can. You can see the wincing in Nick Hall's face. He's got pain there in that leg. He's going to try to work through it and keep going here. Nick is a true competitor. But obviously the speed of young Boyko is going to be his downfall. He's going to try to change direction on him and knock him off. Nick with a bit of splash, trying to change and use his weight to his advantage, and he's got him. He's got Kenji on the backspin. Oh, but Kenji regains. Oh, and Nick goes down one more time, and Kenji wins it. So Kenji Boyko, 1 more year in a row, wins 1st place in the log burling. So Kenji, pretty familiar position going for 1st and 2nd place here in Campbell, and you did it once again. How'd things go today?
Pretty good. I had kind of a tough match with Nick there, but he was trying to splash me at that water. He got me pretty good. I was almost down, but I just focused and tried to get out there, and I just kept my feet going. I got the fall. So.
Right on. So, Al, pretty special to watch your daughter and your grandsons out here competing. What's it mean to you to see these guys competing here in Campbell?
Well, it just keeps our family tradition alive. Kenji's father was 7 times Canadian champion and runner-up countless other times, and he's just following in the tradition, following his father's footsteps.
What about his grandfather?
Well, his grandfather's I'm on a laid-back attitude right now. We're just riding the tide and enjoying life to the fullest, and do a lot of saws and axes for people. and that keeps my hand in it. I still organize some of the programs in our community.
Right on. Well, I've known your family for a long time. Used to read about you guys back when I was just starting out in the 80s, and it's great to see you guys still at it. Congratulations.
Yeah, I've been connected with Logger Sports as a competitor and organizer for over 50 years.
Son of a gun. That's great. That's great tradition. Thanks an awful lot, guys.
Thank you, Rod.
The next generation taking over here in Campbell, winning first place in the Open Burling. Congratulations to Kenji Boyko.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Dickies. Quality workwear since 1922.
Tell us a little bit about the history and your involvement over the years with Campbell River Logger Sports.
The Campbell River Logger Sports actually started off as a demonstration amongst around the 70s. And then early, I think 81, we got sanctioned, and it just continued to grow. And so we are one of the larger logging sports in Canada and in North America. And that is a tribute to our sponsors. They have come to our rescue and said, hey, this is the heritage of Campbell River, so let's make it happen.
Right on. Tell us about the quality of the show and number of people here and what you're offering.
Well, we are probably, as they say, one of the largest in Canada for prize money. We are $44,170. We are running 55 events, mainly because we run a lot of 8 to 11-year-old boys and girls. They run it 3 events, and then we have the 12 to 15, and then our Best in the Bush group. And we run novices, the intermediates, the pros. We run lady novice, and we run lady pros. So 55 different events that we run. So that's a fairly big logging sports. Most, I think, are around the 30 to 40 mark. Logging sports needs to happen because it is what our forefathers did. How did they harvest trees? It was axes and hand saws to fall these big trees. Well, if you don't bring the younger generation up, all that will die. And how will our future generations know how we actually harvested trees? They think that these big machines come up and grab a tree and down it comes and it goes through a sawmill. Well, that didn't happen in the olden days, and we keep the heritage alive. For here on the park, we have young people come here, and to attract all the kids and allow them to have fun, they pay a minimal fee at the gate, and the bounce-aramas, the climbing walls, the train rides, the face paint, everything is free except games of chance. But all of those are free to everyone 18 and under. So no matter what the family's financial situation is, rich or poor, once their child is on site, go have fun all day long. And that's one of the things Salmon Festival established back in 2001. And it's still going fine. And the families who come out because of it, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, huge thanks again to Jim Lilburn for having us out to this amazing event. The atmosphere has been electric thus far. Here we go for our next event, the Women's Single Buck.
Lady Single Buck is off and going. Andrea Hand on bench number 2 and Brenda Pouchnick on stand number 1. And she is coming after that saw on stand number 1. Andrea doing a good job. Very technically correct Andrea is. She's getting into the smaller wood now, but Brenda Pouchnick really turning it on. She's coming onto that saw as much as she can. She's in the last few strokes of it. Who's it going to be? It's Brenda Pouchnick taking first place right now in this heat in the Women's Single Buck. Looks like you liked Single Buck. You were really aggressive at that. How'd it go for you?
It went well. Yeah, I was tried to be really aggressive on the top, and then as I got further into the wood, I put as much weight as I could on the saw.
Awesome. Well, that was a pretty fast cut.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt good about that.
All right, congratulations. Good job.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you can tell as Brenda started really putting the freight to it, those noodles, those wood fibers were just flying out of the gullets of that saw. Here's our next heat of the Women's Single Buck.
Ladies Single Buck, and they're tackling this 14 inches of round white pine. Anita Jazowski on stand 2. Carly Stinson on bench number 1, and boy, she is really going at this. Her saw is cutting this pine really well. It's a little bit drier pine, but her saw is loving it. Anita Jazowski, I know she has shoulder trouble. She's doing a good job as she has a hang, but look at Carly. She's into the small wood. Another hang for Carly as well. and she's back moving again. They're having a tough time here in this smaller wood, but she's got it down from Missoula, Montana. And oh, look at that, right behind her, Anita Jazowski. So, Anita, tell me about your cut. How'd it go for you?
Well, it wasn't my best one, that's for sure. Saying it's been a year of those. I haven't been able to do much training this year, so get what you put into it, and that's about what I put into it, I guess.
So a couple hangs, but still should be in there in the ladies' division, eh?
We'll see. There's a lot of tough girls in here. It'll be a good race today.
Okay, good. Well, congratulations. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, much like every other sport out there, you practice like you play, or you play like you practice. And if you haven't been training it, you can definitely lose a feel for these massive 6-foot single buck saws.
The premier heat in the women's single buck, we have Allison Briscoe from British Columbia taking on Heather from California. And Heather is getting into the wood really hard, really fast, pulling big, long strokes. What a race this is going to be. Allison Briscoe, this is her event, and she's getting into the small wood right now. Looks like she's going to be a little bit ahead of Heather. Can she do it? Look at that. Allie Briscoe takes it off. What a great cut by Allison. Okay, so Allison, that was a pretty sweet cut. How'd it go for you?
Went pretty well all around. Had a couple of hang-ups, which cost me some time, but still I love the wood.
Yeah, I did love the wood a lot. So how'd that compare to other cuts you've done this year?
Definitely up there. The hang-ups were a bit of a downfall, so that cost me some time, like I said, but...
Okay, well, good cut. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Well, and there it is, Allison Briscoe putting the freight to it and taking the win here in the ladies single buck. And she will be our crown pivotal point today. You see she's putting the freight on it there, staying dialed in, wrenching that cutoff for the victory in the single buck. And our lumberjack of the day, welcoming in the next generation of log burlers, Kenji Boyko taking home the victory in the open burling. I'd like to take the time to thank all of our sponsors for having us come out to Campbell River. Join us again next week. It'll be time for Lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
Campbell River is kind of a unique show. They have a lot of different events, a lot of unique events. Tell me how they line up with Anita.
I love this show. I've been coming here for like 20 years, and there's so many events to go in for me. I have lots of options. I've got speed events, I've got strength events, I can, chop. I got stock saw. I had hot saw yesterday, so it's a lot of fun. I get to do everything here.